Here it is. You can all shut up now. It's Halloween forever. I am beset on all sides by mediocre boomer shooters. An endless tide of boring 2D pixelated junk where the devs give you a standard weapon loadout and then just make Doom again. So yeah, I was really looking forward to Cultic's second chapter because episode 1 was awesome. Brutal, atmospheric, and designed with a clarity of vision that you don't see in most others. The chunky shooting, the absurd application of ideas that seem like they're natural evolutions of stuff from older games, like that pick up spare health to charge your portable medkit thing, or sticking TNT and a Molotov cocktail together. Instead of playing it and saying, oh, I picked up this game's slot 4 automatic weapon that I have to use for crowd control against the smaller enemies, no, give me something. Please God, give me something more interesting than moving from room to room opening monster closets. Cultic is peak boom shoot, probably in the top 3 of the retro revival. And episode 2 is better. Overall, a more confident and refined experience than episode 1 that retains the atmosphere while making it more tense, downright scarier, and more oppressive. You might have thought when episode 1 came out, 3 years ago, that the player character was going to head through a portal to another dimension. Nope, change of plans. Instead, you wake up in a morgue with nothing but a lighter. Between the 2 releases was a single-level interlude, where you played as a cop fighting the same cult and having the most incredible parking garage fight. Just wow. That added a revolver, and you'll get a ton of use out of that because it's another powerful and accurate weapon. You exit the police station from interlude and go out into the streets of this town, and yeah, it's time for those headshots. As powerful as your weapons are, the enemy has the same ones, and I'm playing on hard. Doesn't stop the game from letting you dome shielded cultists. I'm already low on health and ammo. Something I noticed about Chapter 2 is that you're always low on ammo. You don't run out, but you're always concerned that you will. It's another anxiety in the back of your mind as another group of cultists show up. It takes 15 minutes for me to find some TNT, which is some bullshit. I was begging for it from the start just because of how effective explosives are in this game. The most direct line from this game to Blood is the idea of being a glass cannon. You can deal with most enemies pretty quickly. With good aim, cultists aren't a huge problem. So having powerful weapons doesn't make you safe. A semi-auto shotgun has also been introduced that sounds like it's deleting parts of reality every time it fires. And then one of the heavy enemies shows up, and the fight becomes about getting rid of them because they are, I guess, wearing better body armor than me. Cops have revolvers, which fuck you up, and these guys have the same semi-auto shotgun, which fucks you up more. Chapter 2 is noticeably harder than the first, and that wasn't an easy time. Jesus, that big guy's still going? Tougher enemies show up a lot earlier and a lot more frequently. Even in this first level, everything's firing on all cylinders. The level design is spectacular. Each part of the environment weaves into the next so naturally. Everything fits. Barricades made with shipping containers, catwalks, and stairs built into this semi-fortified town pieced together for the cult's purposes. The oppressive feeling from there being no other living person around in this city. There's a bar on this street that has no one in it. Simply music droning from the jukebox and a fully racked game of pool that you can absolutely play. This is the first game that I've played of this kind that cements the feeling of being the only person trapped in a hostile town full of crazy armed zealots. The rusty color palette only gives it more personality. There is a distinct feeling that the next corner you take is going to kill you. And then it's a sewer. But it's a sewer with, oh fuck no, I don't have the ammo for this! I do, but barely. We go from my least favorite type of area to one of my favorites, a mall. You don't have to wait for the stages in Chapter 2 to get huge and epic, and my god, the way this stage builds up to what the player is expecting. Tense, dark fights in a parking garage, basement and back rooms, needing to dash between pillars and manage your explosives as hordes come at you. One of the toughest monsters from Episode 1 shows up, and I've got no Molotovs to burn it. And once you get into the mall, I am not playing around with mannequins. Yes, there are evil mannequins trying to jump scare you, and I'm having none of it. I'm already scared because I'm out of explosives. I assume that all video game mannequins are alive because of Condemned. And this clearly Condemned-inspired department store isn't catching me lacking. Gotta get the power on, not that you're safer in the light. Oh look, more mannequins! Oh god, the psychic thing is back and there's shadow monsters. A lesser game would make the psychic enemy a damage sponge. Ammo low? Use hatchets. Bullet-spewing cultists are back on the menu after the brief supernatural respite. Then harvesters, the chainsaw-wielding tanks that toss bear traps. The tightness of ammo, I have maybe 10 bullets, 2 Molotovs, and a few shells, turn this into a hectic combat puzzle as even more cultists show up when I finally kill this bastard. I have to run through the back rooms and fill up my supplies in a locked-up storefront before I feel even remotely safe. Which I don't. In a good way. A horde of alien monsters isn't as intimidating as one kamikaze cultist in this game. Until I realize that they light fuses and will eventually go off on their own, and that you can bait them into setting themselves off and dash out of the way before they blow. There's such a blunt, brutal satisfaction to the weapons. They're all balanced around the fact that they need to be reloaded, but also one-hit cultists and cause their heads to explode with more blood than is contained within the human body. Depending on when you actually find resources in this level, it turns around on a dime and you feel yourself pushing forward in the most satisfying way after being desperate for the first half. Okay, we got a tough cultist coming. I'll just lay a trap for him. Oh, fuck, he's an elite. The cultists now have a chopper that we're going to see a few times, because why have one helicopter boss fight when it can be 3 helicopter boss fights? I blame Half-Life for this. The game has added super weapons that you can only hold on to and use, but can't collect. A bazooka and a machine gun. The helicopter flees before we can kill it, but don't worry, we'll get to it. Another thing I blame Half-Life for, although it isn't a bad thing, is how you have this sky portal and this mountain in the distance for most of the campaign. You know where you're going, and man does it look uninviting. The swamp is easily my favorite level, somehow. You'd think the swamp would suck and that it would be a sewer level with trees, but then you're ducking around behind these trees and waging an assault against cultist shantytowns. The simple pleasure of these moments when you rack up headshot after headshot, barely avoiding getting shot by whichever enemy is hiding around the corner, sniping strategically to take out the enemies that would bother you as soon as you enter the area, the feeling of being that one bad motherfucker who breaches enemy lines and survives. And then it's followed by my least favorite level of the episode, the slaughterhouse. Don't get me wrong, it's fine, but the eerily long hallways and non-linear progression throughout this massive level hits more confusing than it did in the mall. It's still full of cool traps to keep you alert. That's the point, kids. You're never safe. Think everything is okay because you have a grenade launcher? The next level picks up again, and I love it for many of the same reasons I love the swamp. It's Cultic at its best. You, lone investigator, against a bad part of town. And it builds. You aren't aware of the scope of it until you get to a high enough place, and then you realize this whole farm, plus whatever the cultists have been building, is massive, dotted with cultist encampments that you sneak through the rows of crops to deal with. Another shanty town above a swamp, right? I ought to deal with it the same way I did before. Oh, fuck, they're organized. But then, after this battle, after getting the key to the farmhouse, Cultic slows down again. The house is creepy, empty, lit spectacularly. I especially like the blue and red lights cast from the cop car outside. You explore, you hunt, yes, you're technically key hunting, but there's so much put into it. I came across this bricked-over doorway. Okay, I guess I can't get through there, not like I have a time machine. You know, unless one of the closets leads you into the past version of the farmhouse in a transition so devilishly smooth and with such clear signposting and lighting changes that I immediately knew where I was going, and I said, hey, I wonder if that doorway is still bricked over. No, it's not. In the past house, you find a clue to get the key in the present house to open more, but you had this beautiful organic transition between exploration and combat. This is the kind of thing I imagine Boom Shoots would have been doing in like the early 2000s when the tech was there for it. If Halo hadn't put the final nail in the coffin, we could have had this 20 years earlier. Environmental storytelling. Stuff like the barn on this property having semi-trucks in it. Like the cult has been hijacking supplies for themselves, hiding an entire fortified concrete building behind them down the road. Such a complete, fully realized game world, you don't need any of the readables to know what's happening here. The environment is stuffed with hints and information. And then the roadblock hits. Like in the last episode, there's a section in the middle that feels like a siege.
Ah, detective. Honored that you could join us.
You know, I haven't shot my way out of a crowd of this many cultists before, so running seems like the safe option. What he should be saying is, get good, detective, because now you can't rely on save games to carry you, just like the last time this happened. You need to get through every wave of this without dying. Yeah, it took a while. It's a lot harder than Chapter 1. Even the tankiest enemies show up. You think you're done, but wait, there's more! Chopper's back. You don't kill it this time either. Take what you can and move on, because it doesn't get easier from here. The blood influence that this game wears on its sleeve is solidified. But that's the thing about Cultic, it's blood influenced. It leans so much harder into survival horror and quickly establishes its own identity, forgoing the more schlocky elements of blood in favor of playing the tension straight and being better for it. I say that because the next level's a carnival.
Wow, this promises to be fun.
An excellent carnival. See, Cultic is also a Christmas game. Subtle snowfall, colorful lights, fucking armored knights. The fuck? This level is so massive it needs literal signposts in order to navigate it. The dev's working on an auto map though, that should be nice. There can't possibly be a whole pirate cove with a ship over here, that's ridiculous. Oh no, there it is. Everything is so richly detailed and thought out. Every place you see, you can usually find a way there to explore and get resources. There's entire areas that would be whole levels in other games that are just part of this larger setting. It all flows beautifully. I can't emphasize how good the design is, better than Chapter 1. And now I've got the supplies to really open up on these clowns. Oh yeah, give me that Molotov TNT combo. Remember what I said about kamikazes? Oh yeah. And there's still one more level of Carnival, kids, because the Chopper's back to fight us in the jousting arena. It's just a little different. This is not a difficult boss. He's got a lot of health, but his projectiles can be destroyed mid-air, and your dashes, however limited, can get you out of trouble. He's also the biggest voxel I've ever seen. He's so cute, I love him. Like I said, not too difficult, except when I toss a bundle of TNT and accidentally shoot it mid-air in front of my face. Miraculously, I survived this. The extra effort is all on display. The way things explode, the fire still torching the arena, fucking immaculate. Yeah, I know, a train station, how original. We'll be boarding a train and taking it somewhere, probably crashing it, right? Well, yes. But because this is Cultic, they have to put their whole ass into it. You have a train section that's as long as a level in a normal shooter, with the same quick headshotting of lower enemies and the cat and mouse of dealing with larger ones. Then you get on the train, and the train starts moving. You're doing what you expect for a minute, blasting through train cars full of cultists, and then you get out of the passenger car and see Cultic continuing to put its whole ass into it. Trees flying by in the fog as the train speeds forward, instantly breaking up the familiar beats with combat on the top of the train cars. But wait, there's more! Because there's always more. There's another train to hop onto full of tougher enemies that doesn't quite play like the last train. That train comes to a stop at a depot and can't go any further. Oh well, that was fun. Time to clear out the spooky depot that's practically haunted thanks to the telekinetic enemies. But wait, there's even more. At this point, I'm convinced that the level is going to overstay its welcome. We're on train number 3. This is all one level, there's no loading screens. But wait, the train didn't crash, it just stopped. And I'm surrounded by cultists, who all open fire. Looks like the end. But wait, there's still more, because the game then throws you into the shoes of the cop protagonist from the interlude, and you clear out this whole place with a sniper rifle. You know how they tell you not to go to a second location with a stranger? Well, in Cultic, go to every location, every time. Follow it wherever it leads. Cultic takes the most linear of level themes, the train, and makes it into a fucking journey. And again, this train yard would be an entire level in another game, but Cultic wrings every great moment it can out of every single area. It's one of the brilliant additions to modern boom shoots, shaped by developers who knew the genre and know what the player is expecting, only to deliver more. The cop restarts the train, and then the detective keeps going, only for a kamikaze to derail the train. You wake up in the basement of the manor, which is yet another massive, incredible level. Yeah, I'm annoyed that I have to get all my weapons back. They're in this basement, but I don't have the key to get them yet, so I gotta survive the rest of the mansion without them. Starting with nothing but a hatchet, kicking mannequins, collecting books to place on a shelf in the library. Oh god. I don't like this. I escaped the mansion with 4 hatchets and about 30 bullets. It's not great, but I got a deal. I know the game will give me enough ammo, it just doesn't feel like it will, so I'm spending a lot of time throwing hatchets and collecting them again. As well as collecting skulls for another area in the front hall, and being terrified to waste what little ammo I have on low-tier cultists. You spend a long time without your weapons. Do I use my Molotov on these fire arrow shooting undead knights? Yes, fuck them. Get out of here, mannequin. Enemies have started to populate the inside of the mansion now, and you're gonna be stressed until you get the key for the basement closet where your guns are. There's 3 harvesters and a bunch of zombies running around these dark tunnels, and you'll have to deal with at least one before you've got your gear back. Nerve-wracking. But now it's time for the episode's penultimate level. This is only Chapter 2, but this is 7 hours into my playthrough. There's so much to explore and so many secrets. I don't mind taking my time. I'm so invested and entertained that I have barely any notes. The bunker is enormous, like 3 levels worth of areas. It's full of the toughest enemies that you'll kill yourself trying to defeat inside these tight corridors. Oh, no, this has already gone wrong. Fights get out of hand really quick. Elite cultists sometimes outnumber regular ones. I don't know why crouching is OP. Oh, come on, that guy must have had his pants down and he still got me. This whole level's here to test your might, kids. Yes, fuck yeah.
2 headshots at the same time, man.
Let me give you an idea of how much there is to this level. You've got the main area, you've got cultist quarters, halls of worship, underground caves, an entire-ass ship that they copied from the last episode, but okay, sure, I'll buy it. This blood factory, and I'm trying to find as many secrets as I can, you know? This is the end of the episode, and I don't want to slack or miss out on valuable ammo or weapon parts. I've been upgrading my gear as much as possible, though the weapon workbenches are a bit scarce in this episode. Hold on, what's this? You are not sludge, why are you here? That's the nicest thing anyone said to me in years. What's this thing, an access card? To an elevator? Ah, okay, couches, plain white walls, painting. If this were lit up properly, I'd say this is Severance. Oh no, wait, this is literally Severance. I still can't get through this locked door. Leave a comment if you got through this locked door. And now that I've got keys and can access practically anywhere, it's time to visit the chapel. They've even brought the flamethrower guys back. Come on, trying to shoot the back of a 2D sprite. There we go. But wait, because there's still more. Because now that you've drained the blood from a room in the starting area, you can make it through to the boss fight. Not the final boss fight. Oh no, this is against the armored amalgamation. Which sure does look like a lot of metal and meat thrown together. I'm currently showing off the pre-release version of this game that I got back in September, and I don't know if they've changed this fight at all, but this motherfucker is so beefy. I take half his health bar down and another one spawns. Okay, TNT Molotov combo time. Just gotta get him in the right spot. Nope, I waited too long.
Round 2, fight!
Alright, one down. And then I run out of ammo completely because the motherfucker is so tanky. Do I give up? Fuck no, not after I spent this much time fighting them.
Test your might.
Yes, I am a man and a half. Thank God the next room has health in it. You'd think that was the final boss, but no, he gets a whole big arena to himself.
You are a hard one to kill, detective. No matter, you're too late. Our work is finished. Nothing can stop us.
Behold, the power of the will.
Alright, settle down, hamburger helper. I'm gonna make... Oh, fuck!
Stop this foolishness.
This guy is an asshole, and if you couldn't tell, voiced by Gianni, because of course he is.
Get good, detective.
And I kinda did because his attacks are avoidable. Keep your ass moving and use your stamina points well and you can practically avoid anything. Crouching under his beams or in some cases jumping. To give you an idea of how annoying one particular attack is, he hides and throws 4 big spicy meatballs at you, one at a time, that home in. You can dash to dodge them, however you have 3 charges for that dash and you've got to time it just right to regenerate enough stamina to clear that 4th one. This footage is also pre-release and this boss has been nerfed a bit since they were getting complaints, and I can see why. Basically, you have to take his shield down before you can do real damage to his health bar at the top. The window to do this was painfully small, and you'd have to knock his shields out maybe half a dozen times. I don't know, I rage quit after like the 10th attempt and came back to it later after they'd updated it, and it was a much more manageable 3 to 4. Originally, here I am pumping buckshot into his chest with an upgraded damage buff semi-auto shotgun, and it looks like I'd have to pump 50 shells into him. That gets pretty tedious after a while, so while you can learn all the patterns pretty easily... Oh, bullshit! Fuck you! The main problem here is managing your ammo. You want to hit him hard when he's stunned, and if I'd properly upgraded the FG42, I might have done better. Instead, I was using the shotgun to deal as much damage as possible, which I have to reload, constantly. Getting all your high damage weapons reloaded, with the exception of the flamethrower, is something you need to do to make the most of his stunned state. It's one of those bosses that feels like it's testing everything you've had to learn from the game so far. Every movement trick, every quirk of the arsenal. There's times where he'd grab me early in the fight and I just reload then, the voxelized bastard. But 2 days later, when I went back to fight him again, his health had been nerfed, so...
Enough! You will not stand in our way.
At this point, I could spend the time to avoid every single attack, except maybe that one where he grabs you from straight out of the ground. That's some bullshit. But I think it's better to make it so I don't have to go through 6 or 7 cycles of this shit. Length doesn't really add anything to this boss fight. Use fire. Fire's good. Here we go. We're doing it this time.
Detective, wait! You can't. If I die, you die with me. You must realize it by now. We killed you, Detective. Again and again.
Oh no, I remember that vividly.
But here you stand. Your body is imbued with the same power that flows from this gate. It's the only thing keeping you alive.
What kind of game do you think this is, Meat Man?
You can't do this!
Yeah, maybe we'll die, but we'll finally see the sun again, and every cultist in a 10-mile radius is deader than pop punk. Fuck, what a game. I don't even care if he dies at the end. That was stellar. I expected it to be good because Chapter 1 was awesome, but you never know. Chapter 2 is better. Cultic as a whole is at the top of the pile of modern retro shooter throwbacks, up there with stuff like Dusk and Sulaco. So full of great design and tight, focused gameplay. It delivers, kids. Go get it. Every time you think it can't get better, it does.